Welcome to Season 3 of Rush of Fear podcast, where we chat all things Halloween Horror Nights, Universal Orlando's premier scare event. Tonight, for episode 13, I guess, kind of, bonus episode, we are talking to Marc Kleinhenz all about Stranger Things as a show, as a season, and as a haunt. So now, let the mayhem begin.
What a rush of fear.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're here. This is a bonus surprise episode, not related to any announcement of new stuff for HHN, because we are kind of doing a repeat of what we did last year when they announced the horrors of Blumhouse. So we're going to be talking to an expert in the subject of Stranger Things, but this time I'm not alone because I have with me Maddie.
Hi.
Did I say my name? My name's Kenneth.
I don't remember, honestly.
My name's Kenneth, and that's Maddie.
Hi.
And how are you, Maddie?
I'm doing great. I got a tattoo this morning.
Wait, what?
Yeah, surprise, I got a tattoo. Another one.
For the listeners,
Yeah.
we chat usually for a good while before we start recording.
Sure do.
And we catch up on work and life and all that stuff. And Maddie failed to inform me that they got a tattoo today.
Well, we were talking to our special guest, so I didn't want to
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but yeah, I got I got a bunch of tattoos in college, and then I didn't get any tattoos for 6 years. And then last month I was like, you know what? I should do more things for myself. So I got myself a tattoo. Last month's tattoo was a sword on my forearm. It's Jon Snow's sword Longclaw. Very happy with it. I love it to death. And then today's tattoo is a Last of Us tattoo.
Oh, wow.
I know. I sent it to Lee. I got these 2 postage stamps that tattoo artists specially created. They're beautiful. I'll send you a picture later.
Okay.
And inside each stamp, it says endure and survive. The top stamp has a fern and Ellie's switchblade. And then the bottom stamp has a different fern and the moth from the second game. So
okay.
It's very beautiful, and I love it dearly. And I sent it to Lee, and Lee was like, oh my God. And I was like, I know. So.
Well, fun.
Yeah.
I only have one tattoo. I got it this past January, Friday the 13th, and it's vampire fangs on my right calf, on the inside of my right calf. Mm-hmm. But enough about us and enough about our tattoos, because we have a special guest. You heard him last year talking all about Blumhouse as a studio. It's Marc Kleinhenz. Welcome,
Yay!
Marc.
You guys use words like expert and special, and it makes me all nervous. But then I get distracted from my nervousness because I hear Maddie talk about The Last of Us, and now I want to hear her talking clicker tongue for the whole rest of the episode.
Oh gosh, I don't know if I'm that talented, but
all right, let me try redoing your intro then, Marc. We have a very just normal guy who doesn't know anything about Stranger Things. Here is our just average, typical guest, Marc Kleinhenz.
Cool. I can deal with that. I feel like I'm talking to my wife. We're good.
Oh my goodness.
Thanks for having me back.
Yes, of course. I had a lot of fun talking last year about Blumhouse, and definitely learned a lot about the studio and information that I happily shared with anyone who would listen to me at work, because I don't think anyone at my job listens to this show. So I was like, do you guys know why Blumhouse is so successful? Let me tell you.
It was a really great episode. I loved it.
Oh, thanks. I'm sorry you couldn't make it, but I'm happy you're here.
Yeah. Round 2.
Yeah. But so, yeah, a little while back, Marc, you told me cryptically there's an IP that is rumored to be coming to HHN, that if it does, I have a lot of information that I would like to share about it.
Okay, so it's a lot less information. It's a lot more, I am such a huge fanboy. Please allow me. I will burst at the seams if you won't let me run my mouth for an hour at least. So please let me just talk about this forever.
Yeah. And we'd be glad to let you do that. And for the listeners, Marc Kleinhenz, you might know him for fans of Horror Nights and Theme Park. Marc, where would people know you from? I first knew you from the Orlando Informer podcast back when you did that.
Oh, geez. I was editor-in-chief of Orlando Informer. I worked for that company for 10 years, 9 years?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I've written for a whole bunch of different sites.
Mm-hmm.
Most recently, it was touring plans, but then I ended up getting a new job that I really love, and we are working on lots of stuff that I can't wait to share with all you guys. One of them is Halloween Horror Nights. We're hoping to have it out next August, but I'm under NDA, so I can't say anything.
Sure.
Sorry.
Secrets.
That's fine.
We get it.
I've also signed NDAs before, and I respect them, and I respect your honor of that.
Well, thanks. I hope to have something out in sometime September. So maybe I can get you guys to look at that and humor me a little bit more.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
So I know leading up to this recording, you were asking what's the focus of this conversation? Are we talking about Stranger Things, the series, the season, the haunt? And I say, yes. Maybe glossing over the history of the show leading up to season 4, because that is the focus of this year's Halloween Horror Nights
right.
house, and it is the thing that is more fresh in everyone's mind. Also, let's just get this out of the way up front. We will be full spoiler discussion of all of Stranger Things, all 4 seasons. So if you have not seen Stranger Things season 4 or anything leading up to that, and you do want to watch it before Horror Nights and you don't want to be spoiled, maybe come back and listen to this after you've caught up on the series, because we are going full spoilers on this.
Please.
Yes. So I guess, Marc, I'll just let you take the floor and start gushing about this series we all love so much.
Well, thank you for letting me gush. So I actually wanted to start with this whole little spiel. I'm sure you guys have heard this before. When the Duffer Brothers, who are the creators and showrunners of Stranger Things, when they were pitching it to all these different studios and eventually Netflix, they said, okay, we have these different age groups, and the kids are kind of like they're in E.T. the Extraterrestrial. And then their older teenage siblings, they're in A Nightmare on Elm Street. And then the adults, including Hopper, the sheriff, of course, they're in Jaws or Close Encounters. And once I heard that and I went back and I reviewed that whole season in my head, it clicked perfectly. Yes, all those different tones did work. They're all 70s or 80s, so that's even better.
Yeah.
And they're all well, no, Nightmare isn't Spielberg, but very Spielberg inspired.
Right.
You can feel that throughout the series as well.
Oh, for sure. And then as obviously the seasons go by, the kids keep getting older. They went from the 7th grade in the first season to the 8th grade. And then the 3rd season took place in the summer before their freshman year of high school. Now they're obviously in high school and they're towards the end of their freshman year. The kids are older. They're getting to be teenagers. And so every season, the horror factor, I should say the kids, the main kids, the center of the show, they're getting older. So the horror factor keeps upping. And finally, Stranger Things 4 obviously is... I think it's pretty intense. By Stranger Things standards, it's pretty intense. So bad, in fact, that my wife is like, man, I can't. The gore of how Vecna kills people, that's a little too much for me. But those damn jocks, those good old Christian boys with their guns, they're chasing after our characters. I can't take it. She can't handle suspense or stress or stuff. So I always like teasing her. She's coming to Halloween Horror Nights also. So I think that'll be fun to see how she reacts to all that stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, the season, why would Netflix and Universal come back besides, money and contracts and marketing and licensing? I think it's because of that, right? You watch those. I think was it you guys who said when you're watching the Hawkins flashback, you the first thing you thought of was, oh, this has to be a Halloween Horror Nights house? Or was that me in my head adding that to the conversation, even though you couldn't hear me?
Yeah, I think that was you listening to us on the last episode. No, I mean, we probably did say something like that. I don't remember everything we said about the show, but definitely we did say that season 4 feels the most Horror Nights appropriate. That's the season that's begging to be turned into haunted houses.
I've done a lot of gushing about... Michelle has done a lot of gushing about the original season of Stranger Things, and then I've done a lot of gushing about these most recent 2 seasons, so 3 and 4. So I think combined, something like that was probably said, but I will forever remember how I felt walking into the season 1 house where you just walk in and it was the hallway with the elevators and the flashing lights and the dangling feet and that very specific Stranger Things Hawkins Lab siren. Like,
yeah,
makes you feel things.
I've gotten to a point with certain IPs, and like me and my roommate, we rewatched the first 3 Insidious movies recently because we're trying to get ready to go see the new one. And I was in the Insidious house in 2015, and like watching those movies to me now with like how much like memory is entwined in the experience of the house and the Horror Nights event. Now, like going back and watching Insidious or going back and watching Trick or Treat or going back and watching like any of these movies that have become houses that I've experienced more than I have the movies. When I go back and watch the movie, it's almost like, oh yeah, this is a representation of the house rather than vice versa. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It does.
And I feel like the Stranger Things season 1 is kind of like that too, because like I did that house so many times. I was almost said countless, but I do have a count somewhere. I just don't feel like going to look for it. But it was like many, many times that now watching that season back, it's more of like, this is a scrapbook of my experiences walking through this that I can go back and visit and kind of get that sense memory kind of triggered again whenever I want.
My key moment of HHN interactivity, if that's the term you want to use, is goddamn Benny's Burgers. Because when they announced that was going to be like a food tent or whatever, and of course it wasn't themed back then. It was just like the sign that says Benny's Burgers. I'm like, who's Benny? And I went back like, oh, of course that's Benny. I like that guy. So now whenever I see that, and then of course it popped back up in Stranger Things 4, which was great to see that place. It's still derelict and it's all, you know, what's the opposite of consecration? It's sacrilege, whatever the word is. It's stupid. The poor Benny, the teenagers, they all, you know, do their teenage thing to it. But yeah, that's my big moment of like, I always think back to that stupid little food booth, which, you know, wasn't bad. It's just by today's standards, it's really kind of woefully inadequate.
Yeah, they really came in with the second iteration of the house for season 2 and 3, and that food that year was great. We actually talked about it last episode. We were talking about Stranger Things, but it was so good that year because you had the little pumpkin donuts for season 2, and then you had all the Starcourt Mall food court food, which was also delicious. Like, I'm excited to see what they do this year with the food. But
oh yeah, that's been a big topic of conversation in my house for sure.
As it should be.
So we've got that tonal pitch from the Duffer Brothers, which I think I agree. I've also heard that, and I think they nail it perfectly. So like, I guess what's the evolution or what's the next step of kind of the progress of the show getting us up to season 4 and basically the full on body horror that is Vecna and season 4.
Right. And actually, I'm going to pivot slightly, if you don't mind, and talk about Vecna, because that's a really interesting character and concept to both, I think. When they originally started the show, they did the Demogorgon, and of course, their original conceptualization of the show, it was just a 1-season affair. It was a miniseries, and that was it. And if they maybe did a second season, it would be like Stephen King's It, where it takes place so many years in the future, the kids are grown up, and the Demogorgon comes back, and they have to reunite to take it down. And I suppose maybe that's going to be kind of the premise for the 5th season, because there might be some kind of time jump. Like we just obviously don't know.
Right.
But originally the Demogorgon was just going to be like the shark from Jaws, going back to that whole tentpole influence on them. It was like this mindless kind of, well, it was a non-sentient creature that was still obviously very deadly and very scary. And then when they did continue the story, they got into the 2nd season, they had to do like a whole bunch of Demogorgons basically. And then the big twist there, which I love, is they're all connected in this collective consciousness, and there's the mind flayer in control of it. But even the mind flayer is still not a person. It's not he or it or whatever might be sentient, but it doesn't have a personality. It's not going to talk to you. It's almost like Lovecraftian. It's beyond your human conceptualization.
Mm-hmm.
The 3rd season took this little kind of detour with this weird kind of, you know, really disgusting creature that chases after 11. But then when it came for these last 2 seasons, and these last 2 seasons really are interlinked, they wanted to have one central villain that they could talk to and interact with. And and they went right back to Freddy Krueger, and they went right back to all the slashers of the 80s. And Vecna, I think, works on that level very well. He's a very threatening, disgusting creature presence. He very much looks like the White Walkers from Game of Thrones, so maybe you should get a tattoo of him next, Maddie.
Oh my God, he does.
Well, they did that on purpose. Well, I shouldn't say they did it on purpose. They went to that sculptor because they were so impressed with his work on Game of Thrones that he then said, sure, I'll do Vecna for you. And so, yeah, there's a lot of...
Yes.
But I think... looking at the season, I couldn't help but think the whole time, this has got to be a haunted house. This has got to be. And then Vecna, of course, like walking down the hallway. I'll sometimes walk after my kids and go, Max. And obviously, they've never seen Stranger Things because they're way too little, but they kind of giggle and run away. And like, I want someone doing that to me. I'll giggle and run away too.
That's awesome.
I love that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because I can see as like the showrunners of the show or as the writers of a show where you introduce first these like mindless more of animals, how can you raise the stakes of that? And the way to do that is to make it a character with motivations and like very premeditated malicious intent towards not just people, but like specifically towards 11, you know, and the way that they retconned this character as being 1. Because I think when we saw that 11 was named 11, I don't know that many like average viewers wondered where are the other 10, like, I don't know. I just kind of accepted that her name was 11. So the idea of 1, I think, is a really, really fun angle to take on that.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And I have to say, I used to work for Screen Rant for a number of years. And one of the guys wrote this article saying, what if 1, the first test subject, what if he created the Upside Down? Or what if he was the Mind Flayer? And I'm like, get out of here. That's crazy. Come on. And then sure enough, it's just like, I also was a huge Song of Ice and Fire fan. And I read all those novels. And fans there would be like, oh, what if there's a fake Aegon? Or what if the Aegon was fake? I'm like, get out of here. That's ridiculous. And sure enough, you read the books, you're like, son of a bitch. How do they do this?
Yeah. I also I feel like I heard a lot of people say with Stranger Things 2, with the demo dogs, that it kind of felt like the evolution from Alien to Aliens, where the first one focused on one creature and then the second one is like, okay, now there's like a bunch of them.
Right.
And that's the way we escalate from 1 to 2.
Yeah, and then 3 is this kind of weird curveball. Looking back, it's the pivot point of the whole show. It's where the kids start to get older, they kind of drift apart, the things are going on. We now know that weird kind of creature is how Vecna is able to get the power from 11 a little bit to kind of transcend the interdimensional barrier, and now he can attack people in Hawkins from the safety of his nice little mind palace in the Upside Down. So it's this kind of weird little, like, I think the structure works very well, actually, even though it obviously was retconned.
Yeah.
Which is incredible how they did that. I mean, for you saying that it was only supposed to be the season 1 and just like a little mini series, to now having it be 4 seasons with 2 huge episodes that are basically a feature film, like them going back and weaving this storyline that they had to kind of like recreate to match everything that they did for season 1, 2, and 3. It's incredible. It's incredible and looking at it now in the sense of all the writer strikes and the SAG strikes that are going on in LA, like how they did that, they are so smart and creative. And yeah, you should be paying these people way more, because look at what they did with this 4-season, behemoth of a show that completely changed streaming services as they are now.
Yeah.
All through just this central monster storyline that started with this little mini series back in 2017? 16.
Sorry, I'm a nerd.
No, you're good. I'm really bad with dates, so it's good that you're here.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what do you know about season 4 of anything else? I'm kind of letting you lead. I'm trying to figure out the right questions to ask to lead you into your next
nerd gush.
Sure, yeah.
There is actually something I did want to talk about relating to season 4 and why do go back to Halloween Horror Nights now. And I'm sure there's the whole business world with contracts and marketing, and maybe there was a souring of the relationship. I actually don't know how things go between Universal and Netflix. Maybe there was some kind of blow up and then they went back, or maybe Netflix pulled back. They've had a very turbulent last couple of years with their business structure and how stakeholders view them and how happy they are. And that's had a huge impact on Disney and Disney Plus and so on and so forth. But let's just assume that this ties into Netflix's grand ambition to keep rolling out Stranger Things as a franchise. And I was talking about this actually with my wife on the way home just before we started recording. I think Stranger Things is the first time ever, and I say ever, Netflix has only been doing original content for 10 years, but I think this is the first like multi-series franchise they've had, right? There's not multiple Orange is the New Blacks. There's not multiple House of Cards, thank God.
What do you mean multiple series?
Well, like with Game of Thrones, that was the first time HBO ever expanded into like I guess you could say a shared cinematic universe, like a multiple series franchise, meta franchise, where you have Game of Thrones, and then now you have House of the Dragon, and they have the Dunk and Egg series, which I forget what they call it, the Hedge Knight. I forget. And they have like 5 or 6 or 7 additional shows they might be doing over the course of the next few years. Stranger Things is going to have 2 more television shows after the 5th and final season comes out, whenever that is.
Are they?
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. So, okay. The 4th season, this is what I was doing when I was madly typing. You guys were chit-chatting. I'm like, because I'm bad with dates too, actually. I'm like, what are the dates? The 4th season, the first volume of it, the first 7 episodes came out at the end of May of last year. And then July 1st, the last 2 episodes came out. I like how you call them like a little feature film, Maddie, because my God, they really are, aren't they?
They were, yeah.
Yeah, they were.
It was neat to watch those. Like you have to do it back to back. And you have to, right?
Yeah.
Well, a couple of days after that, they said, we are going to do a stage show, which is called The First Shadow. It actually premieres in London. I don't know why it's London only, but I have a suspicion why. That premieres November 17th. It'll eventually come to Broadway and then other places across the U.S., I imagine sometime next year. Kind of like the whole Harry Potter thing and the Cursed Child play, right? Quick sidebar. I think the guy who pitched the Duffer Brothers on doing a stage show, he's big in the theater world in England. He's also one of the executive producers on one of my other favorite TV shows, which is The Crown. So I think that's why. I think that's why it's going to be in London's West End only for the foreseeable future.
And what is the storyline of this Broadway show?
Oh, it's really interesting. It takes place in 1959. It's all about young Henry Creel, Vecna, and all about young Joyce and young Hopper. And I don't know if this is true. This could have been the Stranger Things Twitter account just kind of trolling people. But they mentioned Lonnie, which is Joyce's ex-husband, the father of her 2 boys.
Yeah.
Like he might be involved too. And they got a writer from the television show. She's been on, I think from the first season. She was the body double for the Demodog that tore apart Bob Newby. Poor Bob Newby. In the second season. She just happened to be on set that day. And they said, hey, you're small. You want to play the Demodog? And she's like, boy, howdy. And she went in and she did it. And she got all bloody. So they have the pedigree, the creative pedigree, I think, is fantastic. And they keep teasing so you watch Stranger Things 4, you get introduced to Vecna and that whole backstory. And then we're gonna not only explore more of that 1950s backstory, we're also going to put a couple of little morsels of foreshadowing for the 5th and final season.
Oh,
and when they said that, I'm like, oh my God, my nerd OCD went berserk. Carrie, Carrie's my wife. Like, Carrie, we got to go to London. Like, we'll get babysitters for a week. I don't care. We got to go to London. We got. So I really hope. I mean, with the writer's strike and the actor's strike now, which is an unfortunate situation, I wonder if maybe we will have the time to see it in America first before the final episodes come out.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you let me gush for a moment more, I promise I'll let you guys talk. The same time that The First Shadow, the stage play, was announced, they also said, by the way, we're doing a spin-off show. The Duffers created it and they're going to produce it. They're not going to be the showrunners. No one knows what the premise is, not even Netflix originally. They just went to Netflix's offices and said, we have a spin-off idea. And they said, greenlit, go.
Oh, wow. Okay.
the only person who knows the premise is the actor who plays Mike Wheeler. He guessed it. They're like, oh, you're never going to guess it. Go ahead, Mike. You can try. Or Finn is the actor's name. And he goes, is it this? And they said, oh, how'd you do that?
Wow.
I suspect it might be like the origin of the Upside Down, because we know it's probably not going to be the same time period. It's definitely not the same characters. They said the main connective tissue will be the Amblin Entertainment, the Steven Spielberg approach to storytelling.
Yeah.
And then earlier this year, back in April, they announced a cartoon show, an animated series.
Aw.
Fun.
And it's supposed to be in the style of 1980s Saturday morning cartoons, which I'm the same age as Michelle, I think. I think we're born the same exact year. So I definitely grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons. I think she would probably agree with me. The good old days before, Cartoon Network, and then before the internet, and then before Netflix. And my kids are spoiled out of their brains. They have no idea what it's like to wait and suffer all week long. But okay, I'm done talking.
Yeah. I was hoping the spin-off show would be just like Argyle's adventures as a like 80s stoner comedy starring Argyle that has nothing to do with the Upside Down, or not really, but like that would be fun.
Pizza Boy.
Yeah, just like Adventures of Safer Boy Pizza.
That would be fun. Well, there was after the third season came out, there was a young adult novel that came out all about Robin. And it was like Robin pre-meeting Steve. And then they made it into a podcast. It was like a little mini 6-episode like podcast, and it actually has Maya Hawke reading as Robin, and it was the cutest little thing. So I'd love for them to do more like little tidbits like that with all the characters, like just a random week at school with like Nancy, or I don't know, something like that. That'd be fun.
Yeah. That's
so
very exciting.
Sorry, Kenneth, I have another nerd gush, please, before I embarrass myself further. I didn't mean to cut you off. Please continue.
I'm done. I said I'm excited. Go ahead.
Okay. So I was really interested in all the comics and novels and the audio dramas, like you mentioned, and the video games. And I haven't worked my way through all of them yet, but I was really excited about all that stuff. And they started to flesh out the backstory of the Hawkins National Lab and Dr. Brenner, and who were the previous test subjects 1 through 10. And they got like a little kind of massive interconnected universe there, which is really neat. And then Stranger Things 4 came out, and it completely and totally invalidated all of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Just like Star Wars, the expanded universe. And then Lucas came out with the prequel trilogy, and it's like, oh, okay, all that stuff is wrong.
Oh.
And I actually got to interview one of the authors. She was really great. I really enjoyed talking to her. I loved her writing style. I loved the characters that she came up with. I loved all the stuff I talked to her about. So what's it like to, kind of have your work be, I don't want to say invalidated, because it really is worth reading, and it's definitely worth the time. It's just, it's kind of like, the MCU where you have the multiverse saga. It's definitely an alternate timeline. And
yeah. It's like the show kind of contradicted the stories that she told.
Yes. And it's funny because she said that the Duffers, she didn't talk to them directly. There was someone on the writing staff or the producing staff, I forget which, maybe both, who was the liaison between her and the Duffers, and she would pitch ideas, and they say, yeah, sure, you can do that. We don't, and it strikes me very much as a George Lucas situation where he's like, hey, this is my sandbox. This is my world. I'm going to do what I want to do when I want to do it. So you can tell whatever story you want. I don't care, buddy. Go have fun. And
right.
And so I think they were supportive, and they gave feedback, and they were like, oh, sure, we will. Yeah, go ahead and do the novel and do this. I mean, of course, they're getting a whole bunch of extra money from it. Right.
Right.
But at the same time, I think in the back of their minds, they're like, yeah, well, when we reveal the backstory in season 4, we don't give a shit what you say or what you don't say. Sorry.
Right. Like that's. I can kind of understand that, but then it kind of feels like, well, then why would you even bother letting us do the book if you know that like when the show gets to that point, you're not going to honor what the books did.
Right.
I agree.
That sounds kind of like, I think I heard this recently about like when they were making Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Elizabeth Olsen at certain points would be like, hey, like, in WandaVision, the way we left the character like doesn't really work with this version, like what you've written here, and the writers on Doctor Strange were like, oh well, we didn't get to see that show. Like the people who made Multiverse of Madness didn't watch WandaVision first because I guess it wasn't ready yet, and so like Marvel was just letting like multiple productions involving the same storylines work without knowing what each other did, and like that is why one of the reasons why like the MCU has gotten so messy and like inconsistent with the connections between the stories.
And that makes complete sense, like looking at Wanda's character in that movie, because a lot of people were upset. They were like, well, she had such great character development during WandaVision, and then you just kind of like turned around and negated all of that in this movie. And now she's just kind of like, in some people's eyes, the bad guy, but in other people's eyes, like she just wants the family that she kind of created that was taken away from her as a child. Like it didn't make sense. So I hate that happened with Stranger Things, because I mean who was it that you interviewed, Mark? What was the writer's name?
Her name is Gwenda Bond. She wrote the first novel. It's called Suspicious Minds, and it came out, I believe, early 2019. So we're talking like even before the third season came out.
Right. Interesting.
That's really impressive how you just had her name ready to go. I'm impressed with your memory.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could take credit. My OCD would love to take credit, but it's the magic of editing right now.
Goodness. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, that's interesting.
So yeah, getting back to the whole thing, like you have a stage show, you have 2 new shows coming out. One's live action, one's animated. You have all this stuff. Like, and I think Netflix is really invested in making sure that this brand of Stranger Things stays alive. And so I honestly don't know ultimately how much of this haunted house on both coasts really has anything to do with their grand marketing plans. But I like to think it does, because they did have the Stranger Things experience go around, which is like a mini immersive theatrical production too. So I really feel like this is part of an effort to make sure that everyone stays invested in the show, especially now that it's going to be off the air for God knows how long, because production obviously has stopped.
Right.
They
had a couple of things. They had the Stranger Things experience that went around for season 4, but they also had something in LA during, it was either 2020 Halloween or 2021 Halloween, and it was like a drive-through kind of haunt Stranger Things experience,
right?
Which I don't know who did the casting for that, but oh my god, the videos that I saw on like Instagram and TikTok from that, the actors that they cast were twins of the people
cool.
that they had in the show. Like it was so good. And it was, season 4 is by far my favorite season, but like right after season 4 is season 3. I loved, and I'm so sad that it wasn't its own house at Horror Nights, because I think it deserved so much more. But I just loved the 80s-ness of it, and the neon and the Starcourt Mall, and the character development of everybody, but especially Eleven. And I loved Robin as just a queer character who has not been canceled, because that is just something that's going around recently, is we're canceling all these female queer characters. But the drive-through experience was season 3, and it was just literally like driving through that season of the show with all the neon and the music, and it was incredible.
Did you do it?
I didn't, no, but my older sister got to, because she lives out in LA. But it was just all over my For You page. So I feel like I did it, just like I feel like I've been to the Taylor Swift Eras concert from my TikTok For You page, but
I missed the second haunted house of Stranger Things, unfortunately. Well, maybe I shouldn't say unfortunately, because I've heard nothing but terrible things about it.
It definitely did not live up to the same, for me personally, it did not live up to the same hype as the house for the first season. I think they spent too long on season 2 in the house, which to me was the weaker of the 4 seasons that we have so far. And they didn't put enough energy into season 3, which I think was the scarier season, and the more popular season. But
And the more visually interesting season for sure, too.
yeah, exactly. But it was, I mean, any Stranger Things house is going to be good, which is why I have such high hopes for this one as well.
Yeah, I think there's a plethora of material they could use from this 4th season that could just make a whole bunch of. I actually, because again, I'm a nerd and I have this OCD problem, I made a whole like a little bullet point list of like what I think, like what's the progression of the scenes I think we're going to get. And then I think you guys are right. I don't think we're going to get anything in Nevada or in California or in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
But man, if we did, like I really want that gunfight between the agents who work for Dr. Brenner and Dr. Owens, and then the military officers. Like that would be a fantastic scene to walk through and have all the gunfire go around you.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to walk us through that list by any chance? Do you have it pulled up? Am I putting you on the spot again?
Are you putting me on the spot? No, you are encouraging me in the worst possible way. So yes, I would love to.
Okay, great. Let's do it. Let's walk through. Presenting the Stranger Things season 4 Marc Kleinhenz version, Haunted House for Halloween Horror Nights.
Your Haunted House wish list.
Yeah.
So just to back up for a second, Universal has definitely said we're going to see stuff. We're going to see characters like 11, Max, Eddie. We're going to go into Vecna's mind lair. We're going to try to escape his curse. So I really do think that the whole framing will be Vecna stalking us, or, you know, stalking the characters in the show, and we're going to experience it alongside them, obviously. So I really do think it's going to be based in, almost exclusively based in Hawkins, Indiana. I think we're going to start with Chrissy and how she, well, actually, let me ask you guys this. I kind of went back and forth a lot. Do you think we would just start with her floating magically in the air in Eddie Munson's trailer? Or do you think we're going to see some of her like psychological taunting and maybe her in the bathroom stall and her mom coming down the hallway and stuff like that?
In my perfect house, I think I would want to walk into, that is a great question.
Yeah, that's tough.
Wait, how does the season even start? Oh, it starts with all of them going to school, right?
Oh.
It starts with a flashback in Hawkins National Lab, which I guess that's a good point. They could start chronologically. Well, they could start narratively and chronologically, I suppose. They could do that first. I
don't. They'd have to be very, very careful with what they do with that very first scene. If we do get anything from that very first scene of the show, it would have to be like what we got in the very first house, which was like the elevator and the flashing lights and the Demogorgon and whatever it may be.
Yeah, I think that's what I would want to see is kind of the way the first house opened with the cold open of the first episode, and then we walked into the opening title sequence. And then when we came out of that, we kind of jumped into the beginning of the story. So I think I would put Chrissy's death after that title sequence. Okay. I don't remember the opening scene. I haven't watched season 4 since it dropped. I've watched the first 7 episodes while I was quarantining in my room with COVID. And then we watched the last 2 episodes, premiere night, big, get together at my place. And I have not rewatched any of it since. So I don't really remember a lot about how it starts. I remember more emotionally and like key moments, but not in great detail.
Well, it starts with the Paperboy and Dr. Brenner doing the crossword puzzle. So man, that would be kind of a cool Halloween Horror Nights scene to see.
They have to be doing this in a soundstage because there is no way that they'll have space for everything from this season altogether. But if we take away the Hawkins lab and all of them going to school and, the therapist talking to Max, like all of that, I do think that the first thing that we would get would be either Chrissy being chased by Vecna or just straight up Chrissy in Eddie's trailer. That would be an impressive cold open. Like if you walked in to a dark hallway, Stranger Things logo, the music, and then immediately into being chased by Vecna. Holy moly.
Yeah. hit the ground running. We don't
Yeah.
have time. There's no time to waste. This is a long season. The 3 hour 2-episode finale.
Yeah.
I actually looked up right before we recorded. I was curious, like, how long actually is all of season 4? And it's 13 hours, give or take,
My
which
God.
is double.
And it's 9 episodes.
Right. It's double the runtime of the first season, maybe the second season as well. So yeah, there is definitely a lot.
Yeah.
I did rewatch. I kind of sort of got a heads up that Stranger Things was coming, hence my message to you, Kenneth, way back when. So I went and I rewatched all the episodes very happily. And Chrissy's torment and death is the focus of the first episode. So I think that works well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think even regardless, I think that scene of Chrissy's death is non-negotiable. Like, I think anyone thinking about this haunted house, like, that might be the only, that and like Eddie on the roof and Max is running up that hill escape, and then Eddie playing Master of Puppets. I feel like those are the 3 moments that, like,
100%
just are required to be in this house. Like,
and out of the 3 Vecna kills, I think Chrissy's is the most memorable.
Yes.
That one was like, pardon my French, holy shit. Like, out of that coming from the other seasons, like, that was just, and in the first episode, oh my gosh. So then after that, when the 2 other boys died, I was like, oh, okay, so Vecna kills in the exact same way. He scares you and then he just kind of sucks you from the inside out. But Chrissy's 100% was the most memorable. And you have Eddie in that scene, which everybody will love. I'm just worried.
For sure. Quick aside, since we're talking a little bit about the Duffers and their creative process and how they do things, they have this tendency, which I both love and also kind of dread as a writer. They will write something and then they never started filming a season. Sorry, rephrase that. I'm being distracted by cats. When they start filming their seasons, they're still writing all the scripts and finishing it up. The only exception to that was the 4th season, because they got delayed thanks to COVID and other things. So that they're obviously able to finish all the scripts before they went in front of cameras. So they said, like, for example, when they were writing the character Steve Harrington in the first season, they were going to kill him off. He was going to be a villain and they were going to kill him off. And they said, you know what? That actor is so great. Let's change the trajectory of his character arc. I mean, it's a very good thing they did, because holy God, that character is he's magnificent. He's like the star of the show.
Yeah.
And it's funny going back and rewatching that first season and like, you forget what a villain Steve was in that first season.
Right.
He was a dick.
I hated him. and now he's like the most lovable, like, adorable little guy. And it's just really remarkable that they were able to turn it around like that.
He's the babysitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bob Newby was supposed to die way sooner in the second season. And they saw that actor and how he knocked it out of the park. And they said, okay, we'll keep him around for longer.
Yeah.
They said, having watched the footage of Eddie and Chrissy, had they known what great actors they cast and what great chemistry they had, they would have changed it around. So Chrissy stayed, maybe she was like the 2nd or 3rd victim, because they love that interaction they had.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like I think that how early she dies and the shock of that really helps sell the threat of Vecna in a way that might not have worked if it was a character we cared less about.
But also the storyline with the basketball boys would have been completely different as well, because they wouldn't have been hunting Eddie the entire time, because the what is his name? I'm horrible with dates and I'm horrible with names. So I could watch a TV show a million times and still not remember their names. What is Chrissy's boyfriend's name?
You're asking me?
Yeah, you're stuck me.
I'm asking anybody.
I'm looking it up, actually.
Yeah, I have no idea.
The jerk. He's the jerk.
Yeah. The bad guy.
The blonde.
Jason. That's his name.
Jason. There we go.
Forgettable name for a memorable character.
That's fair.
Okay. Jason.
Yeah. So I think if Chrissy had not been the first one to die, I don't think that we would have had Jason as the villain chasing Eddie, which then wouldn't have propelled us through most of the points of the story. So I think Chrissy dying in that first episode was kind of the catalyst for a bunch of different storylines moving forward. But I do remember seeing, I don't remember, I think it was the Stranger Things writers Twitter account that like after the season aired, they then said, oh yeah, that scene that Chrissy's buying drugs from Eddie in the forest, that was filmed after Chrissy's death, like in their order of filming. And they realized how good the chemistry was between those two actors. And what you said, you know, they wish they had gone back and changed things around and left these two characters to kind of like create more. But I think overall, looking at the season as it is, it worked out in favor of the storyline. So
I agree.
as much as I would have loved to see Chrissy and Eddie become friends or something more, I do love how it turned out because it makes sense.
That's the spinoff. It's an alternate timeline version of Chrissy and Eddie going on their misadventures.
Oh, stop. That would be so cute. I am a lover of like, I'm such a little like fan girl for so many things. And Chrissy, Eddie, Robin, Steve, I'm convinced that Robin and Nancy are like secretly in love with each other. Like, I have so many theories, but I do love little things like that. And it's those tiny moments where you're like, huh, that was a look. Was that on purpose? Or like, is that just me seeing something that's not there? So I'm the worst person to talk to when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I've got a question, Mark, and I've wondered this for a long time, and maybe you know the answer. Like, where did the Duffer Brothers come from? Who are they? What did they do before this?
So actually, Kenneth, last time we spoke, you said you have all these contrary opinions about HHN and horror, and you don't usually talk about them because you're afraid of basically being canceled.
Did I say that?
You sure did. I listened to it today. Okay. You're on the spot, buddy.
I don't remember saying that. I think I'm just less interested in horror than people might think I am. I'm into Halloween Horror Nights, and I watch things that are relevant to that.
Me too. Yeah.
I'm not, horror is not my go-to genre in general for the most part.
And I think that is a hot take. I think a lot of, especially the older Horror Nights fans of like the original like years of Horror Nights, that is a very hot topic for them, where it's like you have to be a horror fan to be a Halloween Horror Nights fan. And I think that's not true, because I don't not watch horror. Like I don't not just on my free time watch horror, but it's not my go-to, just like you, Kenneth. But I love Halloween Horror Nights. They can be two separate things.
I think the live theatrical in your face element and like the design and set dressing and performance and costumes and like everything that you get to see right in front of your face at Halloween Horror Nights is what I love so much about it. But you know, like, not to say, I think there are a lot of horror movies that I really love. I genuinely love the Insidious movies. I think Saw movies are really good. I'm not a fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I think I've discussed that on the show before, and I think that's one hot take opinion that I think a lot of people get upset.
I agree with you. I don't like it either.
Anyway, you were making a point. Sorry.
So I feel that same exact way about. I'm very hesitant to express my complete adulation and adoration for M. Night Shyamalan. I think he's an extremely talented filmmaker. I think, of course, he has some missteps and some duds, as we all do. But I think he's really gifted. I think he's a really smart storyteller. I think he's really, structurally speaking, and also in terms of characterization, I think he's one of the best. And they basically studied at his feet. And I think you can see a lot of Shyamalan's influence in them, in how they approach Stranger Things and how they do it. And funnily enough, Shyamalan said not too long ago that he loves Stranger Things, but it's 80s homage. And he can't wait to see what the Duffers do next, because that's going to be them, not working within the specific context of 80s or paying respect to Spielberg or whoever else. I think he said, I think they're going to do something really original and very different. I'm excited to see it.
That's interesting.
The long and the short of it is they made some movies. they went to film school. They tried to make a movie. I don't think it ultimately came out, or if it did, it was like straight to video or something, just very dispiriting to them. And they kind of got rerouted by Shyamalan into television because Shyamalan was executive producing Wayward Pines, a show which I loved the first season. I never ended up seeing the second. I should probably go back and watch that. If you guys haven't seen Wayward Pines, I definitely recommend it. Yeah, it's great. It's like a little Alan Wake, that video game, that kind of approach, like Twin Peaks, a little X-Files. It's fantastic.
Okay.
And they kind of cut their teeth on that, and they said, well, why don't we just do that? And they happened in at the right time where streaming was on the ascent, and it was considered to be this limitless future, which definitely is not the case now. And Netflix said, yeah, we'll take a risk on you. You can be first-time showrunners. We'll give you millions of dollars. Go for it. And then the rest is history.
Yeah. I just remember seeing the credit, the Duffer Brothers, and just presenting yourselves that way made me feel like, wait, am I supposed to know who they are? Who are they? Who is the Duffer Brothers? It's like the Wachowskis, you know?
Right.
And I just always wondered, like, where did they come from? So that makes sense.
South Carolina? North Carolina? One of the Carolinas.
Oh, that explains why I never saw them. Okay.
Right. They grow up and they have families and they have people. Like they have normal relationships and friendships. They're not in Hollywood. And so every single person, like crew members, actors across the board, if you talk to them on the record or off, not that I've spoken to them off the record, mind you, I hear things.
Yeah.
They always say, like, the Duffers are so nice. Like they're down to earth. They're very just normal, respectful, decent human beings, and they're great to work for.
Yeah.
So that's nice to hear stuff like that.
I see they were born in Durham, North Carolina, home of friends of mine in the band Plastic Flamingos. Unrelated to anything else, but I just saw that name and I said, hey, I know guys from there. Anyway. Okay, so back to Stranger Things season 4, Halloween Horror Nights.
Yes.
Your wish list of moments, right? That's what I think that's the detour that we were just on.
The whole thing is
topic.
The whole thing's a diatribe. The whole thing's a detour. It's a bonus episode, right?
Yes.
In my personal little ideal world, I would skip the second and third deaths that Vecna does. Maybe kind of sort of acknowledge the third death on the lake. We'll get to that in a second. I would really focus on Max. I think her story, seeing her in the cemetery, floating in the cemetery, doing all that kind of stuff. I think that should obviously be a big part of it. And then, of course, you can get into the Mind Palace and you can get her running up that hill and you can have that song if they can afford the licensing for it. And I just think that would be just a really show-stopping, well, potentially a show-stopping moment.
Yeah. I think if you can't afford the licensing for that song, there's no reason to do the house, personally.
Ooh.
That's not me being hyperbolic. Like, I truly think that, like, if you do this house without that song, just scrap it. You know, like that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Among many things, but like that was the big cultural impact of this season, was the music that it kind of reintroduced to pop culture. I'd never heard that song before, and it's like number 1 on iTunes last summer, you know? So like,
yeah.
Master of Puppets, like a bunch of people who I'm sure were already wearing pink Metallica shirts and had never heard that song before. I got to hear it and we're like, oh, this band is actually pretty cool. I think the music of this season is
iconic.
It's iconic, and it's tantamount, if that's, I feel that feels like the right word, to the reason that it, the connection that people had to this season, I think had a lot to do with the music and the way that it used music throughout the story.
Yeah, and they got to the point where they can afford to budget that stuff, and they can write it into the script, and they can organize around it. And yeah, I think you're right.
And then the TikTok Chrissy Wake Up song, of course.
You know how at the end of the second house they had Dustin and Susie singing The Never Ending Story? They should have Chrissy wake up at the end of the house as you're walking out. Chrissy, wake up.
I want to hear just like an instrumental orchestral arrangement of that melody. And it doesn't have the words in it, but you hear that in the BGM loop throughout the park. And if like, it'll just like perk your ear, just like, wait, what is this? I've heard this before.
Yeah.
You know,
that would be great.
There
Okay, so we enter the house, logo Chrissy. After that, I want a virtual walkthrough of Marc's house.
Oh, I have bullet point scenes. I'm not that nerdy. I'm not that. I don't have that much free time, to be honest. Otherwise, yeah, I am that nerdy, of
That's
course.
fair.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what
I
are
don't
some
have.
of our other bullet pointed scenes that you would like to see?
Well, I think the flashback in the Creel house back in the 50s, you see Vecna doing his first series of kills. I think that has to be included as well, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like you get the 50s music going, you get the wardrobe, you get that whole atmosphere. Like that's great. I also think you need to have the flashback to Hawkins' lab. You guys kind of convinced me. Maybe move it to the beginning. In my mind, we save it towards the end so we can get the whole thing, including that epic face-off between Little 11 and 1, and how he goes through the wall and enters into the Upside Down. And
That would be cool.
I think that would be just a really strong dramatic scene as well.
Yeah.
I guess in my mind's eye, I just realized this haunted house has become very bit heavy. Like if your timing's off and you miss all the bits, then the house sucks. But I guess
Well,
It happens.
yeah. With the IP houses, like it's going to be the same in The Last of Us too, where it's, you're looking for those specific scenes from the movie or from the TV show or from the music video, whatever piece of media they've decided to bring as an IP to Halloween Horror Nights. Like it's less about the jump scare of a single character and more of like the big scenes that you can then turn into kind of like a jump scare within the big scene. I'm thinking very similar to like the Ghostbusters house where you have Gozer up on the steps, and then Gozer was not your jump scare. Gozer was always up there, but your jump scare was the one Ghostbuster coming out from the side, a spotlight on him and him saying his lines.
Right.
So like that style of scene plus jump scare. But yeah.
Which
Sure.
I think Stranger Things has a hard time with sometimes because I believe I've heard that Netflix part of the agreement to do the house is that the kids cannot be the ones doing the scaring. Like the kids can
That's
be
interesting.
there, but they can't be the ones scaring you.
Which I guess if that was always the contract, then I'm confused as to how we got the first two houses. Because Max was one of the very first scares in the second house.
Oh, was she? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember almost anything about that second house.
It was there was Will, and it was like it was a fake mirror, and he was coughing up a slug, and that was a quote unquote scare. And then the next thing that you walked into was a little arcade, and after the arcade, Max would jump out with the
She's dressed as Michael Myers.
Yeah,
right?
the Michael Myers mask in her hand, saying
That's
her
cool.
line about like, "Oh, losers," whatever.
Maybe it's because she is actually trying to scare them in the show that they were able to get away with it.
Yeah.
But like in season 1 house, the kids are there, and like you might have been startled by them appearing through a curtain, but it wasn't like a scare.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the teenagers had scares, like Will. No,
Jonathan.
Jonathan,
Yeah.
Nancy, or Steve. Like they could scare you, but not the main 5.
Yeah, I guess that makes
little
sense.
ones.
It could also be a situation like J.K. Rowling, where she poured over the contracts with Universal initially, but then she kind of just, I don't know if she lost interest or she was too busy or what, but she just kind of got phased out, and all of her surrogates got involved, and they're the ones like, oh, sure, Death Eaters and Diagon Alley, go for it.
Yeah.
Or she's just a horrible person. I'll keep my comments to myself.
So maybe it's like, oh, we trust you guys now, and then they don't really pay as much attention. Like, who knows? I really wish I knew. I wish I could be a fly on the wall of some of these meetings and stuff. It's
Yeah.
That would be
I'm sure it's
interesting.
fascinating. Anyway,
Trying to think of what else. I would love to have the big battle sequence with Nancy and Robin and Steve,
oh
like
yeah, for sure.
killing Vecna. I have no idea how we could do that because Vecna's upside down version of the Creole house is actively on fire. But it would be pretty cool because that is a great scene.
We've been in burning buildings and houses before.
Have we been throwing Molotov cocktails at a floating scare actor?
No, Not off the top of my head, not to my knowledge. Doesn't mean it hasn't.
As cool as it would be an expensive scene in a haunted house, but I would love it.
Well, either they could route you for that portion into Revenge of the Mummy, the fire ceiling scene, maybe they can borrow off, or they just really water it down. But still, actually, that scene, I think, in my ideal world, you would have all of that whole sequence. So you would have 11 in Max's mind, like do a creepy version of the snowball with balloons popping and blood appearing and stuff.
Yes.
And you would show Nancy and the rest of them attacking Vecna somehow, and you would show what's Jason? See, I forgot his name already. Jason and Lucas having their fight.
Yeah.
I really want to see the rift form, not to jump to the end, but like they could somehow, even if it's a puppet or something, if they can simulate the scene where Jason's body gets partially disintegrated from the rift forming, like that would be just fantastic.
Yeah, I talked about in our most recent episode when we were talking about Stranger Things, I talked about that, the earthquake in the end bit, but I don't know how they would do it, but that scene is so the cinematography of that scene is just gorgeous. And the clock chiming and all 4 of the rifts forming directly in the center of Hawkins. Like, oh my God. I can't. This season was so good.
It was fantastic, yeah. The scene where they go into the lake and then they go through they go through Watergate,
yes.
which I'm a big political guy, so I love, and a history guy too. So I'm a nerd all around is the moral of the story. I loved hearing Watergate. And that would be a fantastic way to show the Demobats.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they could pull it off. Do they have the time for it? Do they have the budget for it? Do they save Demobats for that final assault in Vecna? And you see Eddie on top of his trailer, which everyone wants to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how exactly they do that, but I think.
There was, I don't know what Twitter account posted it, but there was a tweet of some soundstage, and it could have 100% been for something that they are filming inside of the soundstage at Universal, but like it kind of looked like a trailer. So maybe we're going to have him up on top of the trailer, just like a little bit further away. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then my final element here for what I think we'll probably get in Hawkins, and let's be honest, we probably won't get this last little scene, but man, I want it. The last scene, you think the house is over, you go out, and then you're in the community center. I don't remember now. It was in the high school, I think, some gymnasium of some sort. Everyone's,
oh yeah,
like refugee status almost. Like they all congregate, and then all of a sudden Argyle hops out, and he got smacked in the face, man, or he gives you a pizza or something. Like just Argyle.
Yeah,
he needs to be there somehow, and he's only in Hawkins at the very, very end. So
true. Maybe if in the middle of the mine fight we get like all the kids in the Surfer Boy pizza with 11 in the salt bath. I don't know.
I take it, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
You're good.
The scene where the bad military is like shooting up Joyce's house in California, and Argyle like speeds in. Somehow we like see the back of the van, and it's just Argyle screaming like, "Is he dead? Is he dead?"
Yeah. I take that too. Sure.
I feel like we need to see the Rainbow Room and like the carnage that's left in it. That 11 throughout the season thinks that she caused, but it was actually Vecna. I feel like that's a scene that we gotta walk through, at least just the room in the aftermath of it, and maybe like 11's just standing there like freaked out.
Tiny little baby 11.
Yeah.
I don't, as much as I'd love to get something from like Nina or anything in Nevada, I don't know, because it's just all outdoors and in the bright Nevada desert. Like anything from 11 blowing up the helicopter to, I would want it, but it would be difficult, and I don't know how they'd do it.
I think if we got anything from Ruth, Nevada, it would be Project Nina, the base itself, the headquarters, and the old missile silo. I think that actually would be, for my money personally, that's up there with the Hawkins National Lab flashback, having that shootout and having that stuff go on. I think because it's tight and it's claustrophobic. It provides a different kind of scare that we wouldn't get from Hawkins and everything else. Or,
Yeah.
I shouldn't say scare, excuse me. I should say a different kind of atmosphere or feel. I think it could be effective. But again, do they have the storytelling space for it? Do they have the budget for it?
Yeah.
And having helicopters come crashing down, oh yeah, for sure. Like that would be absolutely would be fantastic.
There's
But-
helicopters flying over Universal all the time, so they
True.
can just grab one of those.
Yeah, it's fair.
So bioreconstruct, he gets into the haunted house. So we got Revenge of the Mummy and bioreconstruct.
Yeah.
It's just half of the park is Stranger Things. The house is like 25 minutes long. It's a full walkthrough experience.
I wish.
Yeah. I would be excited. There's so many characters that I would love to see come to life, whether it's one in like not Vecna form, but like one form, Henry
Right.
Creel form. Just because I love Jamie Campbell Bower. I have since like 2007, but it's fine. Dr. Brenner. I'd love to see a Dr. Brenner. Yeah. He's so funny. I love him.
He's so funny.
He's only funny to me because of that one podcast that I listen to, Stranger Things, because they make fun of him all the time and the way that he talks.
Yeah. You have a terrible wound.
Terrible wound.
Yeah.
Because
it's a good show.
all the time, the streaming things.
Streaming Things, that's what it's called. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I've never met anyone else who listens to them. They
I'm a
are
nerd.
so funny. And anytime that they talk in that Dr. Brenner voice, I just can't help but laugh. Everything about the child fights and
Yeah.
it is hilarious because you don't really think about it. But like, why is this random doctor in Indiana so obsessed with making these little, basically Jedi children? Like, it's very strange. Anyways, Argyle. Kenneth really wants Argyle, as do I.
I am a big fan of Argyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that we're going to get to see Joyce and Hopper, which is very sad because I do love their showdown with the demo dogs in the Russian prison where they're wearing a matching outfit, the Hulk Hogan shirts. But
That's a good scene for sure.
Yeah.
But for my money, like if you asked me what has to be in this house, like obviously now our list is getting to what has to be in the house is probably like an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
But I really do strongly feel like when they enter the back of the Russian prison and they see all the demo dogs and the mind flayer particles floating in all those different tanks, like that's such an X-Files creepy, scary moment.
Yeah.
I want to walk through that environment. I want to be surrounded by those tanks and tubes.
Yeah.
Like I want that.
That is really
And-
creepy.
And like those tanks full of monsters is like such prime opportunity for characters to be in there
Yeah.
and have like a really natural scare setup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree.
But alas.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, well. It is what it is.
What else do you got on your notes of your gushing?
I think I'm all tapped out, believe it or not.
Are you really?
Whoa.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
spent on the costume powers.
No more behind the scenes trivia, stories, any of that stuff.
Oh, well, I mean, if you have another couple of hours, I'd love to bore you with more. I really Stranger Things really is one of my favorite all-time stories of any medium. For my money, I'm older than you guys, so this list will sound very antiquated, but Stranger Things is on the same list as The X-Files or Babylon 5 or Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Like, it's one of the all-time greatest television shows, I think.
Wow.
So
yeah.
I'm very obsessed with it. I love the atmosphere. I love the nostalgia because I actually, lived through that time period. The characters, everything about the music. I think Stranger Things really honestly has one of the best soundtracks in the whole history of the medium of television.
Mm-hmm.
So just like I listen to the soundtracks all the time while I work. So anything about Stranger Things, I just like, you can ask my poor family. They're so sick of hearing about it. And I have my Halloween Horror Nights Stranger Things mug I always drink out of. My 7-year-old took it today for milk. And I'm like, don't you dare defile that with milk. That's not what that's for. But yeah. For the purposes of this podcast and your sanity, I am done rambling.
I don't know. I'd like to hear one like behind the scenes or trivia thing about the show, just to send us off.
Your
on a high
favorite
note.
fact. Your favorite fact about anything relating to Stranger Things.
That the show exists. They when they did their series Bible and they were trying to pitch that to various studios and networks and then obviously streaming platforms, they did it up in they had a cover for it that was very much in the style of an old Stephen King 80s novel, like paperback, which I think is a really great detail. And back then it was called Montauk because originally it was going to be set in New York and not in Indiana. Small town Indiana, by the way. I'm from small town Ohio, so we're neighbors. Like that's that's definitely my bread and butter. Like, oh, I grew up in that forest.
Yeah.
I grew up in a very small town too. I had 69 kids in my graduating class of high school, so I definitely feel it's another reason why I feel so connected to the show. But anyway, I'm glad they changed it, and I'm glad they did all their stuff. But other than that, I really, okay. Here's one thing. It's not a behind the scenes story. It's not anything besides the fact that I just really love the character of Murray Bauman.
Yeah.
He's such a fun character, and he does karate now, and it's so great. And he needs to be in the house too, someplace. Damn it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I said that in our last episode too.
Yeah. And I love that character. I'm a big fan of the actor, Brett Gelman. I think before Stranger Things, he is primarily like an improviser and like a comedian. And he would show up as characters on Comedy Bang Bang, which is a podcast I love. So like I know his voice and never saw his face because I would just hear him playing characters on Comedy Bang Bang. And so when he showed up in Stranger Things and he started talking, I was like, who is this? I know this person. And then I looked it up and I was like, this is Brett Gelman. Oh my God. Wait, wow. This is so exciting. Because like he's from the thing I like, like I always feel that way whenever any Comedy Bang Bang regular gets to be in big stuff. Lauren Lapkus has gotten to be in like Jurassic World and a bunch of big movies and stuff, and I'm always excited for her when she does things like that too. So I was very excited when Murray showed up, and I was like, hey, look at this guy.
That's cool.
He's such a good character.
Yeah.
Since season 2, he has just been so funny in season 2, got even funnier in season 3. Like anything relating to him talking to the kids, oh my God, like the whole code name Bald Eagle.
Yeah.
It's so good. And then season 4, it just got even better when he's pretending to be the Russian guy.
Oh yeah.
Yuri Murray. Like it was just so good. He's a fantastic character.
Yuri. Oh my God, I forgot all about him. He's not in my haunted house list, but yeah, that's another great little moment of color or another different tonal shift that the season does.
On an unrelated but somewhat like tonally related note, just because you love these kinds of stories and things that have this feeling, how do you feel about the movie Super 8?
I saw that in theaters. I don't think I've seen it since.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I have a very ambivalent relationship with J.J. Abrams.
Yeah. I used to
love
love J.J. Abrams, and then he burned us too many times, I think.
Here's one thing you should do with him. He, about a decade ago, he kind of brainchilded a book called S. And
I have that.
Okay, it's fantastic. It's such a wonderful little mind trip. It's a great little atmosphere and story and environment, and that's a for anyone out there who's even remotely interested in mysteries and like quasi 1940s novels and existentialism and then riddles within riddles. It'd be a good way to pass the time until you get to walk through the haunted house of Stranger Things 4.
Yeah, it's a very interesting book. It's like a library book where like two characters were like writing each other notes, checking this book out back and forth and like unraveling a mystery and like leaving each other like items in the book that are actually in the book that you buy. It's very interesting. I think I put it down because I got really confused about how to read it. Like I didn't know if I was supposed to be reading like the book of it, or is it just the notes that are written in it?
And then there's the footnotes from the fake editor of the fake novel, and that's another narrative. There's 3 or 4 different narrative strands going on. How the right order of reading it is a huge topic of conversation on the internet, or at least it was. I'm not sure if that book is still remembered, but
yeah.
Man, we're really going on side. This is a bonus episode now.
We have released, this will be our 3rd episode that we release in the month of July. So our listeners are just getting so much of us this month, which is very exciting.
Most podcasts will make you go on Patreon for that, but not us.
Not us. For free, baby. Yeah. Free with no ads. Unless you want them, of course, and then send us a message. But, that's neither here nor there. If you're listening to
the show and you're like, I wish they were telling me about BetterHelp. Then, let us know. HelloFresh.
Oh my gosh. Anyways.
Anyway, thank you, Marc, for being here. I'm glad that we could be an outlet for your enthusiasm.
Yes.
I am very humbled and honored that you guys were kind enough to humor me and they have me back on a second time, like twice in 2 years. I might be reaching your Marc limit for your lifetime.
No.
Thank you very much for having me.
What's the next IP, the next thing that if it comes to Universal, you're like, well, now I got to go on again and talk about this. Is there anything else that conceivably could be a Horror Nights IP that you would be equally knowledgeable or excited about?
Well, I mean, the X-Files.
Honestly,
of course, they ruined that, but
did you do what's it called? Case Files Unearthed, the Legendary Truth House?
Unfortunately,
a couple years ago?
I did not.
Nah. That feels like it might be the closest we get to an X-Files house. That was really fun.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I have lots of nerd interests. I used to write a lot. I mean, my writing career is done right now, which is both good and bad. It's good because I'm so busy. I have other stuff coming out. It's bad that this is why I had to force you, Kenneth, to make me go on your podcast, because I miss these outlets. I drive my family crazy. Would you just shut up about Stranger? Would you shut up about HHN?
Yeah.
I do have quite a collection of little things that I had some editors when I used to work at different websites. They'd call me up like, all right, could you please explain to me what this, that's how I got to interview Chris Carter once. Like, you're the only one who's so obsessed about this that you know everything Chris Carter. Can you just please talk to this guy? So I would list a whole bunch of other stuff for you, but then I'm really embarrassing myself and it's time to go.
That's fine. Well, just if anything ever comes up that Universal announces, that's Horror Nights related, just let us know and we'd be happy to let you come back and just annoy us instead of your family for a little while. I'm happy to let you do that.
Yes, please.
That's the family service that you're providing. I appreciate that.
All right, thanks, Marc, and have a great night, and we'll wrap this episode up. Should we read all the outro stuff, Manny? I guess let's do it. It feels like a ritual at this point. I don't know how to end an episode if we don't do it.
You can start.
All right. Well, I think that'll do it for this episode. Thank you for listening, and we hope to see you soon in the fog. And Marc, we will see you in the fog this year, won't we?
Yes, I'm coming down. I'm very excited.
Yay! All right.
I don't make it every year, but when I can, I love it.
Definitely. So until next time, for more content, be sure to check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/rushoffear. The side note, because this is all lowercase, it could also be read as Rush Off Ear.
Yeah.
Anyway, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Rush Off Ear Pod.
For more general Universal Orlando Resort news, please check out our friends and UUOP Network hosts over at the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast, wherever podcasts can be found. For all of your travel needs, especially HHN, please reach out to our host and sponsor, Michelle at Portkey Vacations. Just visit her website, portkeyvacations.com, click the Portkey, and submit your no-obligation quote request to begin planning your next magical vacation.
And be sure to check out my band, Pangolin, everywhere that you listen to music online, and follow us on social media at PangolinFL. If you're in Orlando, come check us out on August 5th at the Florida Underground Festival. We'll be playing the first day of that 2-day festival, and I don't think our slot has been announced, so I'll just leave it at that. We'll be playing that first day. And follow the UUOP on TikTok at UUOPod, where you'll find Maddie creating weird and wacky videos every so often. And if you could please leave a spooky rating and review on whatever podcast platform you are using, it would really help us out, and we'd love to hear from you, the listeners. So, from Maddie, from myself, from Mark, everyone say bye.
Bye.
You got smacked in the face, man.
Thanks for listening, everyone. The podcast has come to an end. Now, get out.
Goodbye.